I open my bank app on a Monday morning. I check it without thinking. The number is low again. It is not new. It is the same every month. I sigh and lock my phone. I do not feel shock. I feel the usual tired feeling. I tell myself, I will think about it later. I rush to get ready for work. When I walk to the subway, I tap my card at the gate. The gate makes a short beep, and the light turns red. My card has no money. I step aside. People walk around me. I refill the card with the last cash in my wallet. It is a small thing, but I feel annoyed. I tell myself, it is fine. I tell myself, it happens to everyone. I go to work and forget about it. That week is long. I work late every day. I order food 3 times. I do not want to cook. I tell myself, I deserve comfort after a hard day. When the weekend comes, I go to a cafe. I buy a drink and a small cake. I want to relax. I do not check the price. I just pay. I meet a friend for dinner. I choose a place that costs more than I plan. When I get home, I feel full, but also heavy. I know I spent too much. I push the thought away. A few days later, something small happens again. I walk into a store to buy shampoo. I pick up a bottle. At the register, I realize I do not have enough money on my card. I forgot about a small bill that went out that morning. I stand still for a moment. The cashier waits. I feel heat on my face. I take a cheaper item. I try to smile. I walk home and feel strange. It is not a big problem. But it feels like I am losing control of small things. That night, I open my bank app again. The number is almost the same as last week. There is no space. No room to breathe. I look at the list of payments. Coffee. Food delivery. A service I forgot to cancel. I close the app. I do not want to think too much. I go to bed and turn off the light. I hope tomorrow feels better. The next morning, a new message appears on my phone. It is from the bank. A payment did not go through. It is a small auto payment. But the account did not have enough money. I feel a small panic. I sit on my bed and stare at the screen. This is the third small problem in 2 weeks. I cannot pretend it is random anymore. I go to work and try to focus. But my mind goes back to the red light at the subway gate. The small cash in my wallet. The moment at the store. The bank message this morning. None of them are huge problems. But together, they feel like a warning. Something is wrong. Something is repeating. At lunch, I check my wallet. There is one small bill left. I choose a simple meal. I sit alone near the window. I watch people outside. They walk with calm steps. They look like they have their lives in order. I feel small and tired. I think about my salary. It comes once a month. It goes away fast. I have nothing to show for it. No savings. No plan. Only stress. When I go home that night, I open my fridge. It is almost empty. I take a deep breath and boil noodles. I eat in silence. I think of my habits. My spending is not wild, but it is careless. I buy without thinking. I order food when I am tired. I pay for things I do not need. I do not check my bank app until I am forced to. The problems repeat because my habits repeat. I sit at my small kitchen table. I look at my hands. They feel tired too. I take out a notebook from a drawer. I open to a blank page. I write one line. I write. My money problems repeat because I do not watch my money. The sentence looks simple. It also looks true. I stare at it for a long time. I think about the last few years. I always say, I will save later. I say, I will learn about money when I have time. But later never comes. Time passes. My salary goes up a little, but my spending goes up too. I never stop to ask why. I never stop to see the pattern. Now the pattern is clear. If I continue like this, nothing will change. I close my eyes for a moment. I feel embarrassed. I also feel calm. It is strange. The truth is difficult, but also soft. It feels like something I can touch. Something I can change slowly. I open my eyes and write a second line. I write. I want to stop this cycle. I do not know how yet. But I want to try. I read the 2 lines again. They sound like a small promise. I do not plan a big change. I do not imagine a new life. I only want to stop the small problems that keep coming. I want to stop the feeling of stress when I tap my card. I want to stop the heat on my face at the register. I want a simple, calm life. Before bed, I clean my small desk. I place the notebook on it. I leave it open to the page with my 2 sentences. I do not know the next step. But I know the first step is to look. To see where my money goes. To face it without fear. I turn off the light and lie down. I feel tired, but lighter. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I am standing at a door. A small door. A quiet door. One that I can open when I am ready. I fall asleep, without the heavy pit in my stomach. I know, the problems are still here. But I also know, I am ready to watch them, not run from them. I sleep with this small new feeling. It is not hope. It is not joy. It is something quieter. It is the start of paying attention. I wake up early, on Monday. My room is quiet. The air feels cold. I sit on the edge of my bed, and rub my eyes. My phone shows the same message, from the bank app. A small reminder of the low balance. I do not open it again. I already know the number. It sits, in the back of my mind, like a soft pressure. It stays with me, as I get ready for work. On the bus, I think about the week ahead. I think about rent. I think about food. I think about the small things, that always come up, at the wrong time. I try to see, where I can save money. I do not know, where to start. I feel tired, just thinking about it. At work, I sit at my desk, and look at my emails. My mind keeps going back, to my money problem. It follows me, like a shadow. I try to focus, but my thoughts drift. I remember, the small shock I felt, when I stood at the counter, in the store. I remember the moment, when the card almost failed. That moment stays with me. It scares me a little. During lunch, I walk outside. I feel the cool wind, on my face. I buy a simple sandwich. It costs less than my usual lunch. I tell myself, it is fine. I tell myself, it is better this way. I eat slowly, on a bench. I watch people walk by. Some look tired. Some look busy. Some look relaxed. I wonder, how many of them also worry about money? I guess, I am not the only one. In the afternoon, I make a small plan, in my notebook. I write down all the things I spend money on. I write the fixed things, like rent and bills. Then I write the small things, like coffee and snacks. When I see everything written down, I feel a new kind of worry. The small things add up. I never paid much attention. Now, I see the truth, on the page. The truth feels simple. It also feels heavy. When I go home, the bus is crowded. I stand near the door, and hold the rail. I think about my list. I think about, what I can cut. Coffee. Snacks. Expensive lunches. Late-night food deliveries. I know, I can change these things. The idea feels possible. It also feels a little sad. I liked those comforts. They made my days easier. But, I need space. I need room to breathe. I cannot keep living like this. I need some control. At home, I sit at my small table. I turn on the light. The room feels warm. I take a deep breath. I open my notebook again. I look at the list. I mark the things I can reduce. I draw a circle around the things I must keep. It is simple work. It is slow work. But it gives me a calm feeling. I feel like I am taking a small step forward. Even if it is small, it is still a step. I decide to track my spending this week. I write the idea at the top of the page. I want to know where my money goes. I want to understand it. I want to see the truth in numbers. If I see it clearly, then maybe I can change it. Maybe I can build something better. I do not know how long it will take. I only know I need to start. Later that night, I search online for simple ways to save money. I find many articles. Some feel too strict. Some feel too complicated. But one thing appears again and again. People say the same thing. Small changes matter. Consistent habits matter. You start small. You grow later. I read this idea several times. It makes sense. It feels possible for me. I do not need to change everything at once. I only need to start. I close my laptop and lie in bed. The room is dark. I listen to the small sounds outside my window. I feel a slow calm in my chest. I think about my list. I think about this new plan. I think about the small money I might save if I try. It is not much. But it is something. It is more than before. I know the days ahead will not be easy. Old habits come back fast. Stress makes me want to spend again. Tired evenings make me want easy food. But I want a different life. I want a life with more peace. I want a life where I do not fear the end of the month. I want a life with choices. As I close my eyes, I tell myself something simple. I can try. I can take control. I can start with small steps. Even tiny steps count. Even slow progress is still progress. I fall asleep with that thought. It feels light. It feels new. It feels like the first quiet hope I have felt in a long time. The next week starts slowly. I wake up each morning with the same thought. I need to track my money. I need to stay aware. I repeat this in my head while I brush my teeth and make coffee. It feels strange at first. Almost like I am watching myself from outside. But it also feels like a calm promise. A small promise that I can keep. On Monday, I write down every small thing I buy. I write the bus fare. I write the coffee I buy near the office. I write the coins I drop into the store for a snack. When I see the numbers on the page, I feel a light shock. The small things grow fast. They grow more than I expected. I stare at the page for a long moment. I understand now why my money disappears. In the evening, I eat a simple dinner at home. I sit at my table, with the warm light above me. I look at the list again. The page looks full. I feel a mix of worry and relief. Worry, because the truth is clear. Relief, because I finally see it. I feel like I found a map. Not a full map, but a small one. A start. Tuesday feels a little easier. I bring a small lunch from home. Just rice and vegetables. I pack it in a small container. It feels basic, but it keeps me full. I sit at my desk and eat, while others go out. I watch them laugh and talk, as they walk away. I feel a small sting in my chest. I miss the comfort of eating out with them. But then, I look at my list. I think about my goal. The feeling slowly fades. After work, I walk instead of taking the bus. The air is cool. My legs feel heavy, but in a good way. I walk past bright stores and busy streets. I hear music from a cafe. I smell warm food from restaurants. It all tempts me for a moment. But I keep walking. I tell myself, I can rest at home. I can save a little more today. When I reach my apartment, I feel proud. It is a small choice. But it feels strong. On Wednesday, my phone buzzes with a sale notification from an online store. I used to click these without thinking. I used to look through pages of things I did not need. It made me forget my stress for a moment. But I do not click this time. I turn off the screen. I place the phone face down. I sit still for a moment and let the urge pass. It feels like a quiet victory. Later that night, I search for beginner guides on saving money. I find a simple idea that catches my eye. It says that every habit begins with awareness. Then, you try one small change. Only one. You keep it for a week. Then another week. And only after that, you add something new. I like this idea. It feels gentle. It feels like something I can do. I decide my first habit will be this. I will not buy food when I am tired. I will eat what I have at home. I write it down in my notebook. I draw a small box next to it, so I can check it each day. The box looks simple, but it feels like a promise to myself. On Thursday, work feels long. My eyes hurt. My back feels stiff. I want something warm and fast for dinner. I want noodles from the shop near my bus stop. I can almost taste them. But I stop myself. I take a deep breath. I tell myself, I have food at home. I walk past the shop, with slow steps. When I reach my apartment door, I feel a soft relief. I kept my promise. I cook a simple meal. It tastes better than I expect. I smile a little. Friday arrives. I am tired from the week. But I also feel lighter. I check my notebook. The list of my spending looks clearer now. The numbers are smaller. Not perfect, but smaller. I see progress. Real progress. Even if it is slow. At night I sit by my window and listen to the city sounds. I think about the future. I think about the life I want. A life with less fear. A life with more space. A life where I do not worry about every small surprise bill. I know I am still far from that life. But I am moving toward it. Even if the steps are small. I open my bank app again. The number is still low. But something feels different this time. I do not feel panic. I do not feel shame. I feel calm. Because, now I have a plan. A small one. But it is real. I close the app, and put down my phone. I sit in the warm light of my room. I feel tired, but steady. I feel like I am slowly learning a new way to live. A quieter way. A more aware way. As I lie in bed, I think about the week. The long walks. The simple meals. The moments when I almost slipped. The moments when I stayed strong. I think about how these small changes will build something bigger. Not fast. Not suddenly. But slowly. Day by day. I fall asleep with a soft thought in my mind. I can change. I can grow. I can build a life that feels safe. A life that feels like mine. Monday morning comes. I wake up early again. My room is quiet. I feel the usual calm. I remember my notebook on the desk. I reach for it and check the boxes for the past week. Most of them are checked. I feel a small pride. It is not a loud pride. It is quiet and private. I like it that way. At work, I bring my lunch again. Rice and vegetables. I drink water from my bottle. I watch my coworkers buy lunch outside. Some talk and laugh. I feel a little lonely. But the feeling is small. I tell myself, I am choosing a better path. I focus on my work, instead of thinking about the food. After work, I sit at my desk at home. I open my laptop. I search for ways to save more money. I read short articles about budgeting. I write down ideas in my notebook. Small ideas. Simple ideas. Make a list before shopping. Check subscriptions every month. Cook extra for the next day. Do not buy coffee outside. These are easy. I can do them. I start with one idea. I check my subscriptions. I find one that I do not use much. I cancel it. It is small, but it is a start. I transfer the small saved amount to a separate account. I write the number in my notebook. The number is tiny, but it grows when I add each small change. I like seeing it increase. It feels like holding a small seed in my hands. Tuesday I make tea instead of buying coffee. I drink it slowly. I notice the taste. I notice the warmth. I do not feel I am missing anything. Small things can be enough. I write this thought in my notebook. I circle it. I want to remember it. On Wednesday, I find a short online video about money. It is simple. It explains the idea of interest. It explains saving first, then investing later. The words are easy. I understand them. I write down the words, emergency fund, and start small. I read them again. I do not understand everything yet. But I know these words will guide me later. Thursday, I prepare my meals before work. I make enough for dinner and lunch the next day. I pack the food carefully. I feel proud. It is small, but it feels strong. I feel like I am controlling my life instead of letting money control me. I look at my notebook. I write the amount I saved today. I add it to the start account. The number is still small, but it is bigger than last week. Friday comes. I take a walk in the evening. The city lights shine softly. I think about the week. The small steps I took. The small changes I made. I smile quietly. I see a slow change. My habits are building something new. Not fast. Not perfect. But real. On Saturday, I read more about money. I watch a short video about compound interest. The teacher explains with small numbers. I understand how a little money can grow when left alone. I imagine a small amount growing slowly. I feel hope for the first time. Not loud hope. Quiet hope. A hope that can grow with small steps. That night, I count the money in my start account. The total is small, but it is more than I thought. I feel a soft joy. I feel like the work I did is real. I feel the power of small, steady choices. I pour a cup of tea and sit by the window. The city is quiet. I feel calm. I think about the life I am building. One small choice at a time. Sunday, I make a simple plan for the next week. I write it in my notebook. Continue packing lunches. Continue checking subscriptions. Continue tracking every small expense. Add small money to the start account. Watch it grow. Learn one more small thing about saving or investing. I do not plan to rush. I do not plan to be rich suddenly. I plan to grow slowly. Step by step. Day by day. I lie in bed that night. The notebook is closed beside me. I feel the soft rhythm of progress. Small steps lead to bigger steps. I can feel it. I can trust it. The month will pass. The number in my account will grow. My habits will grow too. I will not be perfect. But I will be better than before. I close my eyes. I think about the week ahead. I think about small victories. I think about quiet changes. I think about the life I want. A life with control. A life with safety. A life where I can choose. I fall asleep with a soft thought. I am building it, slowly. I am building it, for me. Monday morning feels different. I wake up early, but I feel lighter. My body feels stronger. Walking to the subway, instead of taking the bus, gives me energy. I notice my legs are firmer. My back hurts less at the end of the day. Small changes in my routine begin to show. I feel healthier. I feel more awake. At work, I eat the lunch I prepared. It is simple. Rice, vegetables, and a little chicken. It tastes good. I feel full, but not heavy. I notice I do not crave snacks as much. I drink water from my bottle. My body feels better. I realize that saving money and eating better are connected. I spend less. I feel better. I do not have to choose between money and health. I can have both. After work, I walk home. The city feels quieter in the evening. I feel the wind on my face. I take a long route sometimes. I feel my lungs fill with air. I notice my steps are faster. My heart beats steady, but not fast. I feel alive. I smile quietly to myself. These walks cost nothing. They give me energy. They give me time to think. I like this part of my day. At home, I prepare dinner. I cook a little extra for tomorrow's lunch. The routine is slow, simple, and calming. I see how much money I save. Every coffee I do not buy. Every small delivery I avoid. Every lunch I make myself. They add up. I check my notebook. The numbers are small each day. But week by week, they grow. I add the saved money to my start account. I watch it increase. Slowly. Surely. One evening, I sit and do the math. I imagine keeping these habits for a year. Every small saving, every extra dollar. I add it up in my notebook. The total surprises me. It is not a fortune. But it is enough. Enough to do something meaningful. Enough to start learning about investing. I feel a spark of excitement. A small plan begins, in my mind. I open my laptop. I search for beginner guides about investing. I read short articles. They explain simple ideas. Stocks, funds, interest, risk, and saving first. I write down the words I do not know. I make a list of things to learn. I do not try to understand everything at once. I read one short guide. I watched one short video. I write notes in my notebook. The numbers and ideas feel like tools I can use later. I feel small control. I feel hope. The next week, I follow my routine. I walk. I cook. I pack lunches. I drink tea instead of buying coffee. I continue tracking every small expense. I add the saved money to my account. I see the number move up slowly. It is not large yet. But I know in a year, it could be a small sum for investment. A sum that can grow if I learn well. I imagine the possibilities. I feel a quiet thrill. Saturday comes. I sit by the window with my notebook. I make a simple plan. 1. Continue daily tracking. 2. Continue preparing food. 3. Continue walking to work. 4. Watch one short video about investing. 5. Write down what I learn. I do not rush. I do not plan to get rich fast. I only plan to learn, step by step. Slowly. Carefully. I look outside. The city lights are soft. The air is cool. I think about the past months. I see the small changes in myself. Healthier body. Less stress about money. Quiet confidence in my routine. I smile softly. I feel pride. It is not loud. It is steady. I feel like I am ready for the next step. That night, I make a small cup of tea. I open my notebook. I write the new plan clearly. I write the steps to learn about investing. I do not know what will come first. Stocks or funds. Long-term or short-term. I do not need to know yet. I only need to prepare. I only need to learn. The money I saved gives me a small sense of security. The habits I built give me a small strength. Together, they feel like the first foundation of a new life. I close my notebook and look at the start account one more time. The number is still modest. But now, it feels like a tool. Something I can use. Something I earned with patience and discipline. I think of the future. A year of small savings. A year of simple habits. A year of learning. By the end of it, I could have a first sum to invest. I could take a step into a world I never dared to enter before. I can feel the path forming. I can see the first steps clearly. I lie in bed that night. I feel the calm of progress. I feel the quiet excitement of preparation. I know the journey is long. I know mistakes may come. But I feel ready. I feel capable. I feel alive. Small habits, small savings, small steps. They lead to something bigger. I close my eyes and sleep. Tomorrow, I will take another step. A year passes quickly. I wake up on a Monday morning and feel different. My habits are strong. Packing lunches. Walking to work. Tracking every expense. Drinking tea instead of buying coffee. Cooking simple meals. Each habit has become automatic. I do not have to think about it. It is part of my life. My body feels healthy. My mind feels calm. I feel steady. Over the year, I also study investing. I read books, watch videos, and practice small trades in a simulation account. The practice is slow. The gains are small. But I learn. I learn how to make decisions. How to control emotions. How to follow a plan. The simulated money grows. I see progress. I feel a quiet confidence. I check my start account one evening. The number surprises me. I saved more than I expected. All the small savings added up. Walking instead of taking taxis. Cooking meals. Avoiding unnecessary purchases. Each tiny choice matters. I realize I now have enough to start a real investment. A small but meaningful step. I feel excitement but calm. I am ready. I prepare my plan carefully. I write my budget. I set aside an emergency fund. I choose how much I can invest without fear. I review the lessons I learned. Discipline. Patience. Do not let emotion control decisions. I feel confident. I feel ready. Then it happens. My phone rings. It is my mother. She tells me she needs surgery soon. She cannot wait. She needs money quickly. My chest tightens. A rush of worry comes. This is serious. In the past, I would have panicked. I would have felt hopeless. In the past, I would have doubted myself and my choices. But not now. I sit down and take a deep breath. I open my notebook. I look at my emergency fund. I calculate the exact amount I need to cover the surgery. I separate the money. The remaining funds are still safe. My planned investments can wait. I review the principles I learned. Discipline. Patience. Step by step. I feel calm. I feel clarity. The crisis is real, but it is manageable. I write a small plan. Transfer the necessary money to my mother. Adjust next week's budget slightly. Track every step carefully. I make the transfer. I confirm the payment. I call my mother and stay calm. She thanks me. I feel the power of preparation. The habits I built over the year protect me. They give me confidence. Days pass. My mother recovers. The emergency fund is smaller, but the rest of my savings and investments remain intact. My investments slowly recover too. I continue to track my spending. I continue my routines. I continue my learning. I realize the true value of my habits. Discipline, preparation, and calm thinking. They are my real wealth. Not just the numbers in my account. One evening, I sit by my window. I look at the city lights. I think about the past year. The small steps. The habits. The lessons. I remember the moments when I wanted to give up. When money felt like a chain. When stress was heavy. Now I see the difference. I am stronger. Smarter. More prepared. I smile softly. I feel quiet pride. I know I can handle what comes next. No panic. No fear. Only steady action. I close my notebook. I check my investment account one last time. I see the money I saved and invested. Not perfect. Not huge. But real. It represents my discipline. My patience. My learning. I feel ready for the next chapter. Not just survival. Not just money. But real freedom. Freedom to make choices. Freedom to act calmly when life surprises me. This is the mindset of a real investor. The mindset of a person who can grow wealth over time. The mindset of a person who is becoming truly rich, not just in money, but in life. I lie in bed that night. I feel the rhythm of my habits. The calm of my choices. The quiet power of preparation. I fall asleep knowing that I am ready for anything. Real wealth is not luck. It is learned, practiced, and disciplined. And now, after 1 year, I finally have it.